if you're laser focused on your end goal and doing what you need to achieve that, it really doesn't matter. You can get hit with every baseball bat. You can get hit with every single, cease and desist or every single letter or whatever problem that you foresee. But if you're just moving towards that goal, just with obsession, you can still win.
Welcome to the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, a show where we interview high voltage entrepreneurs growing and scaling through e-commerce, real estate, and other wealth without Wall Street ventures, showing you the path to making your first or next million. All right, folks, welcome back to the call. I have a longtime connection and a slowly moving friendship that is getting, well, I don't mean not to say that negatively. Matt's like, well, we're getting to know each other more in a virtual sense. We haven't met up yet, but I have a feeling we will someday because we make it to Florida when we can. And I guarantee you, we're going to catch some people when we finally get to Florida, just so I can take a ride in your car. Yeah, but I have a gentleman here. Yeah, I have a gentleman here that I've gotten to know and respect over time here because of who he is and who he knows and what he knows, most importantly, and very smart marketer, good person, and a fast-growing friend. Matt, welcome to the call, bud.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. And yeah, if you fly into the airport, just be sure to pack light, and I'll pick you up from the airport. Not a lot of room in the front.
Us, man. We have to get a van when we show up. We got to get like a conversion van and like 15 people, and it's an entourage when we roll anywhere. Yeah, so packing light with 4 girls, nah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, heard that.
So you are a proud father now. Congratulations. You are on kid number 2 on your way to 14, or is it?
I don't know. My wife actually said yesterday, well, our daughter's kind of at this cute age, this, 2, and our son was just born 7 weeks ago. I don't know, maybe in 2 years, maybe we could have a third. So that was the first time. It was yesterday. Mm-hmm. She said a third. Mm-hmm. Up until yesterday, it was, get that thing away from me. Like we're not having another kid. Like,
well, you got a new baby in the house, man. That's going to change at least 5 more times. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
When the baby fever smell sort of wears off and he gets a little bit older, that inclination will push a little harder. Trust me.
No, heard that.
That's how we got to 4 in my house.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I need you to create an app, hey Siri, turn off my manhood, and
turn off my manhood.
It automatically turns it off.
Schedule my vasectomy.
Yeah, a little bit more exploit. But she's like, but just in case we need to turn it back on, you can, hey Siri, turn it back on, or, it's party time, have like a short version,
like a pacemaker for your manly gibbets.
Yeah, she's like, you need to make an app for that. There's an app for everything. You just need to connect it to your phone, right?
Well, that could work for some people. I probably wouldn't do that, of course. But to each his own. But look, did you sell your company? Because I know you had posted just recently that your Saas company was up for sale, something you've been working on for the last couple of years. And did you final offer?
Yeah, we have a final offer. We're supposed to close on Monday. So
congrats.
That's pretty cool. If we don't close on Monday, hopefully it's Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day that ends up being. But, I understand things take a little bit of time. Like,
absolutely.
Look at my man, Elon, closing this week, right?
Bringing the sink home. Tell you what, that was classic.
He's going to throw out everything but the kitchen sink, and it's going to be sitting there on the desk, and everyone else is getting thrown out. And now they're all begging for their jobs. So,
the thing they read yesterday was it was kind of pathetic how much they were like demanding. And I'm like, you should get rid of 100%, not 75%. You should just bomb the whole place to the ground, man.
Yeah. Everything but the kitchen sink.
Everything but the kitchen sink. I think that was the analogy. As rightfully so. It's an interesting business model, but I was going to promote your software, but since you're not going to be the owner as of Monday, there's no financial benefit for me to sell your software anymore. Is there? Or will you make a few more sales between Monday, or does it matter?
Probably not. But no, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yeah, we have some new things, coming to market as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing a course. I've had way too many people ask me about creating software and what my process is like. Yep. So I definitely want to help people in that facility, whatever I can. As well as we have 3 more platforms coming out. So just rolling into the next one, just the next.
Let's dig into that software stuff just a little bit. I know it, I know it. And we just launched internal beta, our MVP software on Wednesday to our internal group, which I'm excited about because we're not actually going to sell it mainstream. This is just for people inside my group.
Yeah.
business as a software service, and it's going to be literally the critical path of success from taking a product from concept to zero to hero, all within the system. So every component of launching that product to Amazon will be handled within the service.
Love it.
So I'm super excited about optimizing that. So, but it's
Love it.
software, and it's taken about, I don't know, 16 months of development to get it out. What do you normally see on your softwares and development and time to market?
So, I've really found that my niche is this micro SaaS.
Yeah,
So, creating these small softwares and so forth. And the software we're talking about that we had the seven-figure exit on, I had the idea on March 1st, 2019. And within 7 days, we had a prototype, or, you could
rapid.
call that
Mhm,
MVP.
mhm.
And I posted that to Facebook saying, like, hey, here's a video of it running. Like, would you want this? Would you want to have this? And we had over 1,000 people raise their hand and say they wanted it. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, well, great. Looks like I got to build that thing now. And after a couple of weeks, we got that product to market. Within the end of May, we were able to make our entire initial investment back, which was somewhere in the vicinity of like $10,000 invested. And we grew to a seven-figure app within 2 years and then exited for seven figures.
Good for you, man.
So
And needed to
definitely,
build it.
I like the micro SaaS space,
Yeah,
and I like, just moving very quickly on the MVP
yeah,
and, pivoting very quickly as well. That
yeah.
after investing $500,000 in building another app and, it never even got to
Hit
market.
the
And
market.
yeah, so I'm like, all right, never
Totally.
doing that again. Very
Well,
expensive.
it depends on who you're building for. Like, you're building for more mass market. I'm building for internal business systems just to
True,
my people. I won't mass. And
true.
so I'm going a little harder and deeper than you would. But the micro software SaaS thing is fascinating for anybody who might consider it
Yep.
because of that speed to concept and market. It takes a lot of energy and effort to get that in place. And you wouldn't have had it in place had you not gone through the 500K development problem. I guarantee it to get to your
Painful
space.
problem.
Yeah, but the software, I use it every day. Actually, it's really helped my engagement on Facebook. It's friend filter, and it's really kind of removed any people who are just not engaging and liking and only wanting to, coach coaches who coach coaches. So they come
Oh,
flying in with all this crap.
oh,
And then they don't like or comment or do anything. They just hit my Facebook Messenger. And so I'm like, unfriend.
yeah. They slide into your DMs 10 seconds
Sliding.
after adding you as a friend and,
Oh, and
give
audio
the
message the
pitch.
crap out of me, which is ridiculous.
Love it. Love the pitches.
And
Yeah,
they're,
I,
they're
I
getting
guess
worse.
I'm a huge advocate of unfriending people. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I've actually gone down below 1,000 people now on my Facebook. I have
love it.
almost 2.5 thousand followers, people who are actually friends are less than 1,000, but my engagement is up like 500%,
Yeah.
which
And
is
then
a
you can
big
be
difference.
so much more selective on who you add, and that
Pretty
just,
much.
compounds your engagement.
Yeah.
So
Well,
just
I
a
found
great
that throwing
opportunity.
out memes that just counter the narrative and just kind of torque people off is a great way of having them just unfriend me. It's just a good way of keeping people aligned.
Yeah, we're coming at them from several different angles. We're we're
Oh,
gonna
heck yeah,
we're
dude.
gonna piss them off 10 different ways, and either we're gonna be fast friends or we're gonna be a fast disconnect.
Mm. Mm.
Either way, it works for me.
Oh, yeah, check out my newsfeed. You know how it works, right? I was totally getting a laugh out of my meme yesterday. I showed my wife when Jesus was in the square smacking people, and he's like, "I'm
Yeah,
smacking hypocrites and healing lepers, and I'm all out of lepers."
yeah,
I'm like,
100%.
"Yeah."
I mean, I feel like that's the world we live in today, right?
Oh, it is. There's some people that need some good Jesus smacking. And so we are obviously in ecom too, and I know you are deep, and I know you have an integration or contact. You have a contact, or you at least have what? Actually, you're the marketing engine, aren't you guys? I forget this. Behind Lions, aren't you?
Yeah, since day
Since
one,
they
we've been,
okay, give us a little
running all
insight
the
into that
ads.
ecom. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So definitely on that platform, and really help to grow that brand and so forth. And we're continuing to try to create new promotions and new ways of selling things because that's really what the world is today.
Mm,
Is everyone has a 50% off sale, 60% off sale, get it now, blah blah blah. Everyone has that, and it's really disenchanted the buyer
yeah.
experience. So we try to create some new ways of marketing and really try to shake things up. And, I can really attribute a lot of that success of that brand to, trying to shuffle things up in our marketing strategies.
No, and you guys have been very smart about that, and I know your topical conversations about the more conservative or angling towards pro America stuff is made it probably pretty difficult for you to keep running on some of these platforms, which means you've
Yeah.
been extremely smart with the way that you're angling the marketing, or you would be booted. And the other
Yeah.
thing I love about what you do, Matt, and what I talk about a lot here with folks is how to elevate brands, right? And bring the brand affinity, bring the retail price point up and not discount or look like you're necessarily a discount or wholesaler
Yeah.
and go against that narrative because everybody's yelling recession, sure, but there's always money to be made in every component. of every time of year. In fact, in the downturn is when some of the biggest money's ever made,
Oh, of
is when
course.
the markets turn down, right?
Of course. Biggest opportunities are made when the status quo is shooken up, and
Yeah.
it's a matter of finding where that opportunity is. And we definitely capitalize on that with that brand.
Yeah, you did.
100%.
Lion's
100%.
not cheap, folks. Go check it out if you're interested in it. I definitely recommend you do that. It's been a smart marketing campaign. It's been a lot of growth. Tell us where you guys have at. Where are you at right now in terms of growth? I know you were somewhere around 5 million when we talked about a couple months ago, I think. Where are you
Yeah,
guys?
it's somewhere, encroaching on that next digit. So definitely moving closer towards that $10 million number. So per year. So
Very nice.
that's where we're moving towards.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's phenomenal. We just moved into a new warehouse, and it's just awesome growth. And I'm glad I'm able to, be part of that brand and part of that movement that Sean created and so forth. So
Yeah.
just stoked to be able to help them out.
Yeah. It's smart marketing, man, on a scale that not you don't see very often because there's a lot of players in this niche
Yeah.
that we both run into all the time. I had a guy the other day who was like, "Here, we get businesses to be purchased and acquisition stuff all the time." This guy comes in and he's like, "Hey, check out this business. It's doing really great, et cetera, et cetera." Hands me the P&L statement, and the last 3 months of the P&L had no sales. And
Mm.
I'm like, "You want 150 grand for this business, and it had no sales in the last 3 months?" I mean, how much of this kind of crap is going on in our market right now?
I think there's a lot, and I think there's a lot of BS going on in the space because there's a lot of coaches, and you said it, coaches coaching coaches. Their next thing is coaching people how to do acquisitions. And
Mhm.
now you got a bunch of people running around acting like they're, hot
They got
stuff and
superstars.
throwing out LOIs, and they can't back them up. So fraudulent LOIs is a thing. Like, talk to an attorney, just letting you guys know, like, you can't, send out, promissory notes and not have the money to actually fulfill that. So,
Yeah, they're playing
um,
a very dangerous game they don't understand. If you've ever raised capital, invested capital, or been invested in, you certainly don't want the SEC or the DOJ taking any look at your business whatsoever.
yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, the SEC is a lot worse than the FTC when it comes down to it. So
Yep.
you were, toying with the FTC with things that you're saying in your coaching business. Now you're toying with the SEC. They don't mess around. So
Nope.
have an attorney like close by, and definitely take that in consideration. But I can tell you, there's a lot of nonsense going on out there right
Absolutely,
now.
man. You ever say
Um,
anything you can't actually back up.
yeah,
And this is over the years, there's going to be some challenges with this as they get a little bit harder at pushing into the businesses. It's one of the reasons why I personally still like and have been on for the last 10 years Amazon,
yeah,
because they already require us to stay so clean to
yeah,
the narrative, to the oversight, and to what we can and cannot say. That we do a lot of research when
yeah.
products go out before they even hit the marketplace, because we're public, we're visible, and we're inside of that entity. And the last thing we want is them to go, "Oh, look, come over here and take a look
Don't like
at
this.
this."
Yeah,
Was that?
yeah. They don't like this. Click, click,
No.
gone.
No, and that actually helps with our compliance, which is one of the reasons why I actually love launching in that market first. We get the language, we get the compliance, we understand the oversight. When we can get successful and get the seven figures, we know that anything we move from there to DTC has already been scrutinized. So that's one of the things that I love about starting there first and validating that channel, not because there's a lot of people who go out and make crazy promises on the Shopify stores. And,
Unreal.
Shopify is crazily backing down. We have an MLB registered, trademark, patented business that we're taking to market right now, and we've got everything to back it up. Yet Shopify shut us down.
Uh,
They shut us down, took us offline, and then killed the domain, and we had to go back and restart again because one thing didn't meet up in the data points between the licensing that we have
mm,
and what was actually registered with the business. And it was just a single point of discrepancy, and yet they shut us down completely.
mm.
So if you think Shopify isn't going to turn you off, if you think they won't close your account, think again. They
Yeah.
will take you down.
Yeah, and also something that people don't really realize is Shopify Payments is Stripe. So you
Oh,
have another
right.
layer of,
One layer of complaint.
yeah, I mean, Stripe takes people down all the time for all different sorts of reasons, and
Yeah.
your entire business could be taken down instantaneously just because Stripe doesn't like you, or
Yeah.
you say something and PayPal fines you $2,500, which sounds like that's back on. So yeah,
Oh, that's back on as of yesterday. Didn't I just read something about that? I
yeah,
was like,
it's
"Oh,
back
oh, by
on.
the way, haha, we lied. No, we're telling
Yeah,
the truth.
game
Put it all back."
feels like Wayne's World. Game off, game on,
Game on, game on. Yeah,
game
exactly,
on,
dude. They're back, and I don't think anybody even knows. They snuck that back into the terms of use. And if you aren't paying
back in.
attention, folks, they've updated the terms of service to say that if you post something online and you have a PayPal account and there's money sitting in it and they don't like what you said
Mhm.
online, they will simply go in and swipe $2,500 from your PayPal account. And oh, by the way, if they attach your bank account to it or a credit card, I don't know where the line is. Where's the line, man?
It's I mean, 100% it's overreach, and somebody's gonna get sued here. There's gonna be some sort of class action, some sort of lawsuit that happens, but how much damage are they gonna create between now and then before they actually get slapped on the wrist, right?
Yeah.
And the
No.
court of public opinion is silenced when
Mhm.
it's a conservative public opinion because we don't matter. So, we don't matter.
Well, at this point, we don't, but we are still the majority. So we're gonna the narrative is slowly shifting. But just be aware that
Yeah.
obviously there's a major push right now
Yep.
for what's considered free speech. And I just
Yep.
literally saw this thing earlier because back to Musk, and I was reading this over my shoulder a minute ago. But literally, they're saying that if you are free speech and you are in agreement that Musk is taking over Twitter to bring free speech back, then you're a fascist. I'm like, what
Wow.
the? Are you kidding? And they even updated the definition of fascism in Wikipedia. Have you seen it?
No.
It basically states that anybody who's of conservative or patriotic values is a fascist, and anybody who believes
Really?
oh, go check it out. Go search Wikipedia for fascism.
Wow.
The last I checked as of yesterday, the definition now incorporates you and me, who
So
believe in a free speech republic and don't want big
okay.
government stepping in. So we're fascists. Congratulations.
Okay. So, like, the definition of fascist is involving the media in order
Mhm.
to change the narrative to create propaganda, but they're the ones that are doing that, which by definition makes them fascist.
We call that projection, right?
Okay.
So if I project
I'm
it
just
onto
trying
you
to follow
first,
the
yeah, no, if
definition.
I say it's you first, Matt, you're a fascist or you're bigoted or you're racist, and I say it's first, then you lose. Because now anything
Yeah.
you say is in a defensive position and it will
Yeah.
be seen as defensive. And they got this cornered narrative and big government's in there, by the way, folks, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Big government's controlling. That's what fascism really truly stands at the bottom line. Government and corporations colluding against the people. And that's one of that has nothing to do with us. We're capitalists. And I
See,
happen to know Matt is not pure capitalism, which is what I preach about, which is evil
yeah.
in its own right.
So for me, it's very simple. Like every single argument just comes down to how much government intervention do you want in your life? That's it.
Pretty much.
Every single argument just comes down to that. And I don't hear anyone talking about that. How much intervention do you want in your life? Like, I don't want any personally. I don't want any intervention. However, I do see some areas of having policing and other things like that. Fantastic.
Infrastructure.
It's
Yep.
helping the community and taxes to help the community and
Whatever
whatnot,
stops
which
chaos.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah,
Yeah.
great. It keeps us from being Mad Max, right? But we
Yep.
need to define what that line is because the line keeps moving every year. And
It
it's
does.
getting closer and closer to the point that you will own nothing. You will do what we say. You will work the job that we say. And you can't build that business. You can't run that business. You can't say that online. You can't do this. And you can't become who it is that you think you should become because we own all the chess pieces on the board. You have
And
to
we have
do
friends that believe that. Have you seen some of these guys? I mean, they are doubling down and like we're the idiots, and that's not actual reality. That
I
doesn't
can't believe it.
exist. It's not happening. And I'm literally watching them in the narrative, just sucking that down. And I'm like, hey, what? Are you serious?
Yeah. The one thing that gets me probably the most is people who are entrepreneurs or self-proclaimed entrepreneurs who believe in the thing that you're saying.
Mm,
And that's the thing that I can't understand because the entire definition of an entrepreneur is to wake up in the morning and make a decision. I am going to do this thing and go at that thing full bore, right?
yeah.
Nothing's getting in my way. I'm going full bore to get that achieved, right?
Yep.
But if you're waking up in the morning and asking a question, you know, please, sir, what can I do for you today? How you're serving a
Yeah.
master, right?
Would it be
Entrepreneurs
okay if
are
I say
not
this?
serving
Yeah.
anyone else. We are serving our customers, but we are creating, we're innovating. That is the definition of entrepreneur. And I feel like if you are the person you're describing, it's impossible to be an entrepreneur, right?
Pretty much, you can't extrapolate the ideas of entrepreneurialism, which are in essence the goal of freedom, lifestyle as a business, and yet then pontificate a second narrative behind the scenes or to your personal friends that is completely the opposite of that. And
Yeah.
I see that happening quite a lot with folks because I mean, it's fear. I just attribute it to fear. I'm not afraid of being a free man. And honestly, what does it mean to be a free man? I was talking with Jesse Elder about this the other day. We're the only beings on this planet that pay for anything to be here,
Yep.
right? The Eagles don't pay for anything.
Yeah.
The squirrels don't pay for anything, yet we're also on this planet walking around with the squirrels, yet we pay for the licensing, the fishing, the cars, the
Yeah.
insurance, the everything to exist. Are we
Yeah.
really free? Are we really free men if we can't be on the planet without paying for something to exist? Do you
Yeah.
think that home that you actually pay for and own on the land it's sitting on is actually free? Try not paying your taxes for 3 years and find out what's happening.
Is it even my land?
It says, "No, you built a property that you
Yeah.
own on someone else's land." So,
Yeah.
the reservation is just bigger. We just don't see it the same, right?
Yeah.
Don't
Our
see it for
cage
what
is
it actually
bigger.
is. Yeah,
We're just
exactly.
living in a
Well,
bigger cage now.
we just live in nicer cages.
Yeah.
That's the what it gets. But my cage is paid for. No, no, try not paying your taxes and find out who truly owns your cage. And that's not free men. But I see that changing, and these kind of conversations are happening. You just don't have the mass audience appeal or the media to get it out there. I mean, most of my posts for this podcast gets shadow banned through
Yeah.
most of the social medias. I try to post it, nobody sees it. It's
Yeah.
like, really? I'm not even talking about that dangerous of stuff. I'm just having a conversation about business and abundance and the difference between, when it's a servant and a free man. And yet I can't get the reach on it.
It's insane. Like, I think that down the road, something needs to break, something needs to change
Sure.
because the path that we're on right now, that we weren't on this path 10 years ago, right? This
Nope.
path is new and it's really been created from social media, if you will. I
Yeah.
feel that Instagram has portrayed a life that people want to live, and it's caused people to spend into oblivion and buy things that
Yeah.
they
Live above
can't
their means.
afford and try to impress people that they don't really care about. And Twitter's turned into this be the first one to break the news, right? And
Yes.
you don't even know
Even if
what
it's not
news you're
true.
breaking. You're just
Yep.
trying to be the first to break something and you're not even doing the research. So, I mean, that the media goes out the window, and then the whole political aspect of the world, like that's, just a total crap show. And all these pieces are coming together to just turn into this melting pot of anger, and no one's talking anymore. No one's
Anger and
communicating.
stress and
Yeah.
fear and judgment and cancellation and who's my real friend and who agrees
Yeah.
with me on my healthcare decisions. I mean, it's literally created a diversity of battle lines
Yeah.
that is affecting the entrepreneurial mindset. I see it all the time. I see it with people who want to get started. I see it with people who are working in it. I even see it with people who are successful, like us, having this conversation where we still battle
Yeah.
the consequences of that thinking. And in actuality, we're both thinking in abundance,
Yeah.
but we're being forced into scarcity and we're being forced into a corner.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you put animals in a corner, right?
Yeah. We will fight to
You
get
can
out. And another thing is health. And
mm,
as you look at what America has become in terms of our health, it's
mhm,
absolutely abysmal. And perhaps health
yep,
ends up being, maybe that becomes the revolution. Maybe the next revolution is a health revolution when all of these drugs that are being pushed on us, or,
yes,
whatever shots people are getting in their arms, and whatever people are eating, and, the fast food and everything that is leading to this country to obesity, perhaps that's our next revolution, as in
mhm,
30 years, all those people start dying off. And
mm.
it's only the healthy people, the ones that chose what to put in their body and made conscious decisions, health decisions. Maybe we will be the only ones left over.
We're watching some incredible things happen. If you're willing to take the blinders off, if you can look
Yep.
at it in reality, if, as the good to great says, if you can pull that rock up and look at the squiggly, nasty things underneath it,
Yeah.
for what it actually is, some of this is going to be reality for those of us who are watching. Some of us are still listening to the narrative and don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think the breaking point is the kids. And here's
Yeah.
why I think it, because I watched this in Michigan the other day. There was a council meeting. I don't know if you saw that for the
Mhm.
local school board administration. Every walk of life was there. You
Yeah.
had Christians and Muslims standing up against the local community, agreeing to take out CRT and other types of hypersexual things from the school
Right.
board meeting, some of which they couldn't even read because it was
Yeah.
obscene.
Yeah.
And they were all together in that room. And it was just, you talk about diversity. I looked at this video like 3 times. And as I did that, I was just looking at the crowd and I was looking at all the differences and all the people, but the unification was don't touch the children,
Yeah.
leave them alone. And I'm thinking, wow, that is something very unifying.
Yeah.
I will fight for your children. I would expect you to fight for mine, especially when it comes to pro pedophilia or nasty agenda or hypersexualization of my children. Leave them alone. They're
Yeah.
kids. Let them
100%.
be kids. Stop talking about it. Stop putting it in the school system and stop pontificating on it all the time.
Yeah.
Yet that is a major force. I have a thing on my Facebook you've probably seen. I'm up to like post 21, right? It looks like an ad for homeschooling. And the one I put out there yesterday was about a pro pedophilia professor who's helping to start a daycare in the United Kingdom to push that movement to the children in the daycare.
Unreal.
It feels unreal, but yet there it is. It's
Unreal.
a reality. How
It's
far do we go, man? I think that's the precipice for me.
yeah. I would say, it's really come down to those who believe and those who believe the media, right? And those who believe,
That's true.
right?
Well said. Yeah,
Because
no,
either
true.
you believe in something or you exalt the media as your Lord and Savior, right? And
Pretty much.
for me, I just say believe in something, right? It really doesn't matter
Or fall
because
for everything,
if
right?
you believe in something higher than yourself, then you have some sort of understanding of the meaning of life, whatever that meaning is to you.
Yeah.
The translation of meaning of life has led crusades and all these deaths
Yeah.
and battles throughout, the years. But I think that we're at a point that we're just battling against the media. We're battling against,
The
this
narrative.
message that,
Yep.
is being portrayed to us that either you accept it or you will be destroyed by us. And
Because you can't succeed. You
that's
are already
insane.
set aside as a problem. You can't because someone else is in your way, you can't do something.
Yeah.
Is a constant repetitive thing. And this whole thing about we live in a democracy, folks, if you go actually look up the Latin root narrative of the word democracy, it actually goes back to Greek. It
Mhm.
has to do with rule of the mob.
Mhm.
So they keep telling us over and over again on every media, on every local station, on you live in a democracy, right? It's in the best
Mhm.
interest of the democracy. The democracy is in threat. Folks, are supposed to live in a republic
Yep.
constitution. Okay, go look up the differences. When you understand the rule of the mob and you understand why they want to take away our ability to, vote in a consortium that doesn't force a mass agenda upon us,
Mhm.
this is some of the things you got to wake up to. Because if you don't, your opportunities in business are going to be gone.
Yep.
And Matt has had opportunities. I have had opportunities, but we've had a fight. So not as he just mentioned, he spent 500K on something that didn't work out. Spent
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands on things that fail. I've gone bankrupt. I've lost millions of dollars. I have had major problems, but I've also had opportunities, and they are still there,
Mhm.
right? They are still afforded to us. There's still a lot of opportunity. We just have to be very careful because there's a lot of sharks in the water right now. And it's very crazy where those sharks actually are coming from. Sometimes they're coming from your own house, which
Yeah.
makes it even more difficult.
Wow. That's so true. And today's world is scary, right? And I would say the one thing that you can do today is just put the blinders on. Have a goal that you're looking to achieve and just move towards it. And
Yeah.
have that focus, focus on that one single path to achieve that success. And, find a mentor, like join your program. Just move and move towards that and just be 100% super focused because everything is going to come at you and you're going to get hit every different way in your own household. Every time that you go outside, the IRS, that agency, that agency, that agency. But if you're laser focused on your end goal and doing what you need to achieve that, it really doesn't matter. You can get hit with every baseball bat. You can get hit with every single, cease and desist or every single letter or whatever problem that you foresee. But if you're just moving towards that goal just with obsession, you can still win. When that starts changing, then I'm going to start getting worried. But I still feel confident that I can wake up every morning and, move towards that. And as long as I can, nothing else really matters. And I'll just focus and move towards that and just do what the best I can, right? Because
Yeah.
I think that's all we can do. Because if we're trying to solve the world's problems, we're not
Yeah.
necessarily going to do that. But yeah, I guess that's the best we can do, right?
Yep. Well, we're in business for fun, people, and profit. And if you
Yeah.
can't figure those three things out about the business you're in or what you're doing or where you would put your blinders and focus, that's probably your first step is to identify what you consider to be fun in business and life that you're willing to wake up every day and do, and you consider it to be good and fun and enjoyable. And the people around you lift you up are doing the same thing, are creating this opportunity to have a conversation without threat. And you can have fun and do that business with them. And of course, have profit. It's not a 4-letter word. It really
Mhm.
literally isn't a 4-letter word. It is okay to have profit, but not at the advantage of other people. And this is
Yeah.
what I love about having you on, Matt, is you are a true entrepreneur. You have multiple irons in the fire and everything you're doing while gaining profit is still lifting others up. I've watched you do it, and you have done great in your business. And I'm just honored to have you on today to share that word with everybody. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
If you like this episode, please share it with people you think will enjoy it as well. Thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for a brand new episode of High Voltage Business Builders.